All right, so we finally got the new shop put up. Took a little bit. There were some complications that just slowed us way down. I put up an Atlas lift. I actually sourced it through Advanced, through a guy I used to work with. He got me a pretty good deal, matched anyone I could find online. So far, it seems like a decent quality lift. I can't really complain about it. I put it up myself. Seems to work good. I have no issues with it. We ran power out, everything like that. I'm still working on some of that. We got the Amazon LED lights, the old dirty truck sitting in the corner. Better behave. So, what? Some of the issues. This was a normal, steel building, and I bought it through Carport Central, and then I bought it through NC Structures. Were actually the people who came and installed it. They call them the manufacturers. So I had about 15,000 in the building, and about 8,000 in site prep. So that included, getting a new pad in, and I had the concrete done 6 inches thick, with fiber and steel mesh. So it should be good for whatever I'm gonna do in here. The pros of this building is right now, it's $10,000 cheaper than having a wood building put up. The cons, there's a few. In the rain, you can hear it pretty loud. The condensation builds up there. And now I know you can have it spray and insulated, and I do plan to do that. Some of the other weird cons that you might not think of is I paid for the upgraded doors. These aren't upgraded. So they're a regular roll-up door, and that's not what I paid for. But these guys came. They said it'd take them 3 days. It actually took them like 6. They'd show up one day and just leave, and then come back, and the last day they worked till like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, which isn't a problem. But they forgot to put the door locks on. One of the panels doesn't match in color. Not on the outside it does, on the inside it doesn't. Some of the roof panels were not screwed on all the way. It was like they just forgot to or didn't see it. And then they even forgot, like I said, they forgot the door locks. So they had to come back up for that. They're supposed to come back up. There's a hole in the siding up there. So they're supposed to come back up and fix all that. Getting these people to come back, it's just crazy. They just don't, you cannot trust them for what they say. They just kind of come up with their own schedule. And they called me one time. They were an hour out and said, hey, we're gonna be in your area, we'll come fix that. I said, well, I'm not here. And that was the other thing. When they finished this, they finished it around, like I said, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And they wanted me to come okay the building. I said, I'm not okaying it, you can't see anything. So we ran into that whole dilemma. As far as that goes, that, I'm not gonna approve anything. So that's something to watch out for. Some of the other things, the man door rail, you have to step over it, and it's a couple inches high, and you don't even think about that, but you have to step over it every time. And my kids, they just for some reason cannot remember to kick their feet over it, and they run into it every time. The other thing, leftover hardware. They left screws everywhere. I mean, hundreds of them. My wife and I, we picked up probably 150 screws at least. It was just insanity. Overall, I'm still happy with it, but there was a couple spots where they use these little brackets, and here's one right here. They put that in, but they forgot to secure this other side. So it's just weird. You could see some of the light coming through. They do not, even though they charge you for it, they did not seal it to the pad. The other thing is they tell you to pour it to the exact pad dimensions. Don't do that. Their reasoning is if there's any overhang, the water can make its way underneath. Well, I've read lots of reports, people having problems with the pad they poured it to the dimensions requested, and when these people got here to install it, there wasn't even enough. I would not want these fasteners, and like I said, I used to work for a concrete company. I would not want these fasteners that close to the edge. Talking with our engineers, they wanted them 6 inches because they're an expansion anchor away from the edge. So our guys said, don't do that. They said it would probably be fine, but don't do that. So I had mine poured oversized, which ended up being good because the contractor who poured the pad, actually it's a little out of square, which is annoying, but it isn't going to hurt anything. So if you look there, there's a bigger gap there than the one there. And these guys didn't actually put the building on square, so that exacerbates it. It's just one of those things, like, it's annoying, it won't hurt anything. Out here I have to have it poured yet. We didn't do the apron, but a lot of things, you can't do everything at one time. So we're getting there. I actually have switched jobs in the meantime, so I've been buying a drain pan for the lift. My wife bought me this cabinet for my birthday to match my other cabinet. I bought a trans jack. My mother-in-law bought me a small fridge. I'm not going to have water out here, but I am going to. I obviously have power, so that's something nice to have. But after all that, I used regular MC metal clad cable to run for the outlets, put in a 100 amp service. Like I said, a lot of it isn't 100% finished yet between work, kids, their stuff. It's hard to finish it all. But it's there where everything works and can be used. It's just one of those things. But as far as the overall, I'm happy with it. It's definitely a lot of space. I have plenty of space to have my lift up the whole way and no issues. The Atlas lift, for the money, you definitely get what you pay for. It's not the cheapest lift, and it's definitely not the most expensive. The directions, though, they're terrible. But kind of what you get. So overall, it's worth the money, but definitely when you sign these contracts with these people, make sure that you have something in print, that you have something, even guaranteed as far as the dates go and as far as the completion goes. They get it done fast. That's a pro. The negative is if you're not here at your home to watch them overall, and I have another buddy who had a garage built same way, it's very hard to make sure it's what you want, because they will do stuff and go over the plans over and over. Make sure you have the right size doors. Make sure they're the separation you wanted. Make sure they're as far off the edge as you wanted. Make sure the man door is on the right side, because they almost messed that up. These guys, they sent out here a 3-man crew to do this whole job, and the guys worked. They got it done, but half of them, as far as working, half of them just barely even spoke English, which that doesn't have much to do with anything. But for them to communicate, they all communicate through one guy. So, they did a good job overall, but definitely there's some things that could be improved upon. For what you pay, I would say you got what you paid for. It's just not quite what you would expect for the amount of money. And these companies, they lay a heavy finance charge on you. Like, I paid mine off in cash, and I've been saving for a while just to have a shop where I could actually work on things instead of worrying about how high I jack something up. So you can definitely make it work, but be very wary of their sales tactics, their policies. You read their reviews, and if they have 50% negative reviews, that's a hard call, because you're not going to get what you paid for. You're not going to probably be happy with the results. And this company actually had a lot of negative reviews, and I tried to avoid them if I knew, but they did my buddy's garage and he was pretty happy with it. And to be honest, they did do it in the time they thought or said they were going to. So, I mean, I can't complain about their timeline necessarily as much as their workmanship. Like I said, that panel being the wrong color on the inside, it's definitely an issue, and I'm not sure that they'll actually be back at this point. Same thing as that hole up there. I don't know what that's there for, but you end up with an extra hole. Same thing as some of these panels not being screwed down the whole way. They just missed at the bottom. And I was out here one day and the wind was blowing and I saw it lift up out of the corner of my eye. And not that it's hard to screw that panel down, but that's what you get with these guys. They're paid by the job, so they're rushing it. And it just makes it hard to, kind of say, wow, man, I'm really happy with this. Well, no, I'm not. And beyond all that stuff, you kind of get what you pay for. Yeah, it was cheaper. Yeah, I wish I would have paid a regular contractor a little bit more to get it done, but I wanted to pay for it all in cash, and this was what I could afford at the time. Due to COVID and everything else, the wood prices are absolutely crazy, and the guys who had quoted me for the job for a pole building said, hey, it's up 10 grand now. So it's just one of those things. I know this is a long-winded video with a lot of talking. Also, for everybody who commented about painting that before doing all that work, I'm not going to paint it. It gets beat through the woods. It gets beat at campgrounds. If you put a nice paint job on it, then it's going to bother you. But as far as for what we do, it's held up well. We drive the thing all over. I let my friends drive it. It's fine. It's my choice to keep it that color. Quit complaining about it, or don't comment about it. I don't care. Same thing as this. I'm not painting that. I like that truck the way it is. If I go park it at a car show, I don't have to worry about someone dinging it. I don't have to worry about someone leaning on it. It just happens. You could take this thing anywhere and it still gets attention. It's not perfect. It was never meant to be perfect. I never had this, never had the ambition or drive for it to be perfect, but it's what I want. And I think it's fun to drive. You go beat on this thing, it's just, you don't worry about, rubber getting on it or the paint being damaged. It's a clean truck, it's solid, but it isn't perfect. There's dents, there's dings. I've undercoated the license plate. It's just something fun to drive. And I know, some people want their stuff perfect. I do like nice things, but as far as this, which is just a beat around buggy, or this, which is just a fun toy, maybe one day this will be nice, but it's not right now. And like I said, I'll go park it wherever I want and not worry about it too much. No one's stealing it. There are aspects of it that are done really well and really nice, and the interior is decent and all that stuff, but the bed's nice. But it's just, when you have something nice, it's hard to trust other people. I've watched people door ding other vehicles and you're like, hey man, what are you doing? And they walk away like, I don't care. So it's just one of those things. But same thing with this building. There's a lot of positives, a couple negatives, but overall I'm happy with it. It gives me a spot to work, gives me a spot to get stuff done, do maintenance on our daily drivers. I want to build a bench over across there, maybe in an L shape, so I can have my lathe and my mill over there. Some of the wiring isn't obviously done, but we're working on it. When you're doing it all yourself, it just takes time. Some of my tools from work have made their way here. Like I said, I switched jobs. I went from a fleet maintenance tech to back to a field service tech for an equipment company. So some of the tools I just won't need again, and or can't fit again. But there will be more updates on that as we go past. Overall, guys, thanks for taking the time to watch the video. I love all the comments. I love all the questions. You know, I'm not perfect. If you see something you think's a better idea, post it up. If not, hey, it is what it is. Like I said, I'll try and answer every comment I see. And sometimes it might take me a day. I just, you know, with 2 kids and a job and, you know, life and coaching and all the other stuff that goes from day to day, it sometimes takes me a minute to answer them, but I try to answer everybody's comments or questions or everything that I see. So if I don't answer right away, it doesn't mean I didn't want to. It just means maybe I didn't see it yet. But watch out for some more updates. We got some real cool stuff coming up. We got some of my buddies' projects they're wanting to bring over, some engine builds, some race car builds, some hot rod stuff, some equipment stuff. I just haven't got it all done yet, and I'm getting there. It's just, like I said, there's only so much money and so much time. And, you know, I'd rather do it all myself if I could. But that just slows it down sometimes.